Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin's still lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
When Formula 1 last raced in Portugal, it did so at the S36 circuit back in 1996, which is located just near Lisbon. Welcome along to the 7th round of PSGL PSF1 as we head to the Algarve International Circuit for the Portuguese Grand Prix, which hosted a Formula 1 race back in 2020. Let's have a look at the track. The track is 4.653 kilometres, 2.891 miles, and it has 15 turns, 6 to the left, 9 to the right, and 2 DRS zones. A lot of elevation changes, and there's a lot of corners where you'll literally go up and down, side to side like a roller coaster. But before we head to the main race action, let's have a quick look at a hot lap.
Let's take on board a hot lap of the Autodromo International de Algarve with FBR Zolzo on the run now down towards turn number 1. 8th gear carried all the way down the straight. This is the DRS detection zone through the right-hand of turn number 1 at Primavera, then through the right-hand of turn number 2, and then into the 3rd gear corner of turn number 3. 90 kilometers an hour carried on the exit of turn 3, through the mid-level traction zone of left-hand of turn number 4, and then into the end of the first sector split into the very tricky braking point of turn number 5 of Torre Vip. And he misses the apex there on the left-hand side, but carries the car nicely through the speed, coming to the traction of turn number 5, then through the left-hander of turn number 6, and then through the right-hander now of turn 7, and then through the right-hander again at turn number 8 at Craig Jones corner, through in towards the left-hander now of turn number 9, pretty much now to the midpoint of this lap time with FBR Zolzo on the run now up the hill in towards turn number 10, through the right-hander now of turn number 11, toward the end of this middle sector split. An easy corner turn number 12 awaits the drivers out on track, then through the left-hander turn number 13, 100 kilometers an hour carried through the apex of the corner, through the right-hander now turn number 14, again very wide approach coming on the exit of the corner, and then toward the right-hander of Galp at turn number 15, the final corner on this track at the Autodromo International de Algarve. Zolzo wants to take a thin approach on the run to the line, and that is a lap for the Autodromo International de Algarve.
So that is what the drivers are going to be facing tonight around the Algarve International Circuit. We've seen how the weather can affect it in F2, but I wonder if it's going to affect it in F1. You got myself, Jeff Sport, on commentary, and joining me in the commentary box as ever, it's Mr. James Head. James, it's such an iconic track to go racing, isn't it?
It is indeed. Portimao, nicknamed the roller coaster by Lando Norris, nicknamed the roller coaster by the locals as well. One of my favourite tracks to commentate around. Your favourite track even to commentate around as well, Jess. It is all going to be really good, and the drivers are just about to get ready into the short qualifying session as well. But good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you've actually managed to find the stream, because we had a few technical difficulties before we came live. We are all good now.
Yeah, we are good. For some reason, I was dropping frames, and then when I tried to stop and restart the stream, the link decided not to work. But good news, we are back. Hopefully everyone can find us like we said. But last week, we were at France. It was quite hectic, but it was a lot of fun. We saw Cameron Dowd picked up his first win of the season. That promoted him to second in the championship. It's still an 18-point gap between himself and Matteo. But he's finally got his season up where he should be.
Definitely so, yeah. I think, honestly, in terms of that performance, Cameron Dowd came really alive last week in France. Volokong second, Rens Thomason there in third. There were penalties to come from that as well. Jeroen, who obviously finished second in that race on track, didn't in the end. He got a 5-second penalty applied to him. He finished down in 10th in the end, so big knock-on for the F7R man of Jeroen. Also, penalties removed from Matteo. That was good for him. He actually got promoted back up to 7th from 11th, so he would have been out of the championship standings in terms of France at least. GL has got 5 seconds worth of penalties as well, but unfortunately he has now left PSGL PSF1, and that was because of an incident, I believe, with NLR Ryan. That incident that we caught on the stream, that was because of that, and GL obviously has decided to leave PSGL, which is unfortunate, but at least we have got a full-time replacement, and that full-time replacement, Jess, of course, being the Cyberman of TRT Brando.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not here tonight. He's not feeling very well, so I hope he gets better soon, because he's all still recovering from hospital as well. So again, get better soon. So here's what's happening tonight in terms of driver changes. Let's get our lovely faces up before we get into qualifying. So we got Erpet replacing Yossi in the Alpine tonight. Yossi can't make it. And we've got Jamie replacing Kaziddle in the Mercedes. I don't think anyone else is replacing anybody else. So that confirms that as well. So Formula 1, first host of the race here, 2020. It was hosted quite a lot of testing sessions around here. But last time we were here in PSGL, season 32, and all the drivers that did race in season 32 around Portimao, but they don't race in PS anymore. They're all on PC. So we've got Legend, who took the victory there, Orgiano in second, and Asacombe in third. Season 30, Ishmael Fati took victory with Max Wiesel in second, Mirko Suriano in third. All three of them doing very well on the PC platform. And then Joost Noordijk won in season 29. So who will join the big names and get on to the top of the rostrum here at Portimao?
Well, it could be the man who did top the timings in PSGL PSF3 back in the day, in Cameron Dowd. He's the first man out on track, actually, coming through the right-hander of turn number 11, a 50.6 in the middle sector. If you're wondering why I said that, he got disqualified from that race. On his first ever race in PSGL, got disqualified. I was on commentary that day, so I know fine well what he went through that day. As he now comes through the right-hander at turn number 14, then through the right-hander at turn number 15 at Galp. As I said in my hot lap around here, basically a blind press coming through turn 15, very thin line on the run to the line. The 1:15.3 to start off the night, which I believe, Jess, is already quicker than F4 Paul earlier on.
Yes, obviously F4 was quite interesting because it started off dry and then with a bit of rain towards the end as well. So it was pretty much last of the splash and dashes who was the last to get out and set a good lap, really. So hopefully we won't get that at the moment. Ian Van Herman came across the line into P2 at the moment, but he's just invalidated his next one, so he won't be going again. Vola Congan, who's doing quite well in the championship previously, he goes up to the line, he goes into third place, done well in PSF2 around this circuit. We got Matteo, our championship leader, only goes fifth now, but then replaces him by Tim, which goes fifth. Backy then goes up to the line, Matteo's teammate for tonight, full-time driver in McLaren, who's back. Let's see what he could do as a newly qualified full-time driver. Only goes 8th fastest. Sibylla goes 8th fastest and bumps Backy. And then Ryan said, no, I could go 8th fastest. Everyone keeps going up and up at the moment. Flotman goes to 3rd. Fede goes 4th, which is great to see from him. And Zorzo, who we provided a hot lap for us. So thank you, Zorzo, for providing that. He's going to go for a run to the line. This could look good for him. What could it be? 15.8 for the Red Bull man.
Yeah, not bad run at all from him. Rens Thomason to the line going 9th fastest as well, ahead of Keki. It was a good lap from Rens, but well down in the middle sector. We saw Cameron Dowd, 50.5, I think it was, in the middle sector. Rens Thomason, 50.9 in the middle sector. Not something that we often see from Rens. A poor lap, I've got to say, from his standards. Mateo there in 8th position as well. See where I might be going in terms of the consistent theme in terms of the championship. Rens 9th, Matteo 8th, Cameron Dowd on top. It's perfect right now if you're the Flying Scotsman 2.0's fan. But if you're a fan of Matteo and Rens down in 8th position and 9th, that is going to be a real struggle, I've got to say, to get forward. Jamie is just about to start to run down in towards turn on the CPI man. Might run out of EOS potentially towards the end of his lap. He comes out through the right-hander turn number 1 at Primera, through the right-hander turn 2, and then toward Lagos now at turn number 3. We'll see what the Mercedes man can do. It's a very mid-level traction zone coming through the left-hander turn number 4 as well. And you can tell because the car nearly lost basically from coming halfway through the corner. 21.7 in the first sector. Purple in the first sector on my screen. I don't think that's purple out of everyone, though, in this sector. Cameron Dowd still out on top. Ian Van Unen there in second. Flotman there in third. Pretty much the top 3, near enough the same top 3 as we saw in France last week as well. Jamie's halfway through the lap, Jess, and at the minute it's not looking too bad, but I would say he has lost a bit of time in that first sector.
Yeah, I think he definitely lost that time in the first sector, but he has a set lap. Yeah, he just invalidated through Samson. He just invalidated through Samson, so that is going to be his lap time over. So I think he's going to dive it in to the pit lane. And luckily on my telemetry, it tells you when they've invalidated because they all have red timings on the sectors so far. But yeah, he was the only car out on track. He's going to probably dive in. Or he could finish and set another lap, actually. But he doesn't have any ERS to usage. So what would it be? It would have been a 150.690, which would have put him in between Tim and Matteo. So not bad. So that would have put him in the top 10. Fastest first, second and third set, by the way, all belongs to one driver, James, and that is Cameron Dowles.
Yeah, and Cameron Dowds, judging by his lap time, what was that, 15.3? He's 2/10 clear of Ian Van Unen. And I know for a fine fact Cameron has not lost anything compared to what he did in PSGL, PSF3. But honestly, in terms of this 16th position from Jamie right now, he hasn't had a lap time, obviously, but Cameron Dowds out on top. That 2/10 per second, it's going to be really difficult to try and come down on. Ian Van Unen and Flopman, very consistent drivers. Fetty on a 15.6. There's quite a number of drivers actually on a 15.6. But this track really does do you in terms of making mistakes. And if in terms of making mistakes, this is going to be what I think will decide who wins this race. Whoever makes the less mistakes out on track. It's one of these, as Evan mentioned in F2, it's one of these where Portimao is a bit more twisty and turny, not like the straight line speed tracks that we're going to get, the likes of your Azerbaijan, the likes of Netherlands, which is another tight and twisty track. So we have got a straight line speed track coming up primarily, but here in Portimao, it is fully twisty. Cameron Dowds loves a twisty track, and the Flying Scotsman 2.0 currently out on top.
Yes, 2 temps separating the top two right now. Be interesting for you to get your opinions on who you think is going to get pole position, but these drivers have 2 more laps to get some timings under their belt as well. I have to say, heading towards turn 3 and 4, that is the most tricky part of the lap, and heading towards turn 8 and 9, because the elevation changes are just so quick. You have to get it so right, and also through turn 10 and 11 as well. Those are the corners that we should keep an eye on throughout today's race and qualifying session. Volakonga's going to be one of the first people to set a lap time. Actually, no, it will be Tim to set their next lap time as well. Usually, they don't do well in their middle runs. It's usually the end for some people. For other drivers, it's the other way around. Tim was just invalidated heading towards turn 2. So as I went on board with him, he decided to be like, you know what, I would invalidate. So that is his run over. We'll see if Cameron Dowles could keep his lap valid. So far, it is looking A-OK for the driver who won last time out in France, which was a very good win for him going down the hill up towards turn number 5. Let's see, keep it clean through the first sector. First sector, he was down in the first sector, actually, 21.501. Still faster than a lot of other drivers, though, so he could still find some time in the middle half of the lap as he heads passing towards turn 9 now as he goes up the hill into the crest. Heading towards Portimao and towards turn 10 and 11 as well. Flip the car to the right. Absolutely perfect for Cameron Dowles. Purple, only 2,000 slower than his previous best, but he is purple middle sector, 29.128 in the middle sector for Cameron Dowles. I'm just trying to see if anyone else improved. Volakonga, unfortunately, has invalidated his run. Also, Tim has invalidated his run as well. I'm just seeing if anyone else setting any personal best. Not at the moment. We've got Ian Van Newman saying personal best middle sector. Cameron Dowles up top, slightly improving on this personal best, which was 115.330. Ian Van Newman is next up to the line. He's improved by less than a tenth of a second. What's that going to do in relation to his time? Is it going to be enough for pole? Answer that is nope, it's not. But he does improve on time, and he was James purple in the final sector.
He was purple in the final sector. Flopman's actually quickest out of everyone in the first sector, I believe. He was a 21.5 in that first sector, matching Cameron Dowds, slightly quicker than Cameron Dowds, and again quicker than Cameron Dowds to the middle sector. So the Flying Frenchman now coming to the left-hand return number 13. Flopman now trying to prove that he's not a flop here in PSGL, PSF1. Now comes the right-hander at turn number 14, and then inside the blind crested corner of Galp at turn 15. Mateo there goes second, so good lap time from him, but Flopman now through the final corner. The Sauber comes on the run to the line. Is he going to go quicker? The Autodromer National de Algarve. No, he goes second fastest in the end. Big improvement, though, by Flopman. This is now wide open. Cameron Dowd's out on top. Flopman there in second. Matteo there in third. Ian Van Unen down on lap. Ren's there going fifth position as well. Freddy improving. Volakongan there down. Jeroen improving through the middle sector as well, but he's not really doing anything in comparison to the top guys. Jeroen is improving. Zolza was well on the run to the line as well, coming through the final corner. 800s up on the run to the line. 2.5 tenths improvement. Big lap there from Zolzo. Big finding in that final sector. 7th position from him. 15.636. And we've got Jeroen, as I mentioned, on the run to the line as well. And he goes ahead of actually Zolzo by 200ths of a second. But Cameron Dowd's still out on top. But unlike that 2/10 gap earlier on, Jess, that's now I can't even speak. That's more reachable, I think, from Flopman, Matteo, and Ian Van Unen's perspective. Cameron Dowds, he needs to get out there and set a final lap, as do the rest of the guys. And it's going to be very easy, I think, for improvements to try and be found in the final runs.
Yes, because not everyone is fastest in which sector, because there's some people that improved in one sector for one lap, but they were worse in another sector in another lap. So they just really got to get their act together and improve that consistency. Jamie's going to be the one that's going to be out of sync. He's going to try and set one of his laps during qualifying because he hasn't set a lap yet. We'll see if he can do better than what he does as well. This is the part where it could cause a bit of oversteer through that line crest and then downhill and towards Toy in turn 5. 21.547. I don't think that he's fastest out of everybody, but he is matching quite a few people. At the moment is Jamie right now. It's taking a while for my telemetry to update right now. But the fastest first sector is a 21.4 by Cameron Dales. So we need to find a 10th right now as well. But anyway, Jamie going up towards turn 10 and 11. Looking tidy so far from the Mercedes driver. Reserving tonight personal best first and second sector. Matching the guys near the top. I'm expecting around about top 5 for Jamie. But you never know, I could jinx him and he could prove me wrong and he could probably be near the top 10. But here comes Jamie up the roller coaster section. Down and up again. The elevation is quick and fast. You blink and you miss it, says Jamie. Up to the line and he goes fifth fastest. Very good lap time. And matching in most sectors, actually. He was actually purple in the first set. Actually, no, he wasn't purple first sector. It was Cameron Dell still. It just took a while to update.
I think it was purple in the final sector, judging by that. It was a really good lap by Jamie. In the end, I didn't have a reaction on camera there, and you probably wouldn't have seen me on camera anyways, Jess, but I honestly thought that lap was really scrappy from Jamie. Coming through that first sector, he had a moment coming in towards turn number 3 where he just locked up the brakes. That sent the car in a little bit of a wrong direction compared to where we wanted it to go, and that was right into the corner. So I think if he improves through turn 3, turn 4, and then in towards Torre Vipit turn number 5, Jamie's going to be right there. He's a contender for pole. Definitely do not discount him out on that lap time. And as I say, he nearly spins the car coming through turn number 11 on his down lap. They're in fifth position, 15.427. Not looking too bad at all. He is definitely a contender for pole position, just if he can sort that first sector out.
Yes, the first sector is where he really needs to shine, I think, out of anybody. He only needs to gain about a 10th or so. That's it. And it would be enough to try and claim pole position. So let's put it into perspective here. Top 4 separated by less than a tenth. Top 2 separated by 3 100ths. Top 3 separated by 4 100ths. Then we got from 6th down to, I would say, 7th, less than 2 tenths. From 8th down to 10th is about 3 tenths. And then down to 15th is around about 6 tenths of a second. This is not F1 sim racing, but this is PSF1. And we wasn't expecting it to be this close. But you can tell a lot of people really do like this track. I can't call who's going to get pole position here, as Volakonga is going to be the first person to set a lap. Let's hope he doesn't invalidate this time. A lot of people going out now. They're leaving it a bit late, but we will see what they can do in general. And we thought we were going to get away with the illegal blocking this week, but turns out we're going to have the lobby restart. F2 and F4 got away with it, but unfortunately for F1, that means we're going to have to talk for donkeys. But that's fine. We've got this in the bag, haven't we, James? But Volakonga's about to start his lap.
He is about to start his lap as it's only Flopman. It's always Flopman, I think,
Yes.
the blocking. But then towards turn 1, Volokongren goes wide, and that's his lap already done. He was so far deep into the apex through turn number 1. He has already backed off his run. I think the next driver to come across the line is going to be...
Is it Cameron Dowd?
Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd. He really does want the airtime, doesn't he?
Yes.
If you like the Scotsman coming through the final corner on the run to line, 15.330. Now, I want to see if this first sector is in comparison to what Jamie was doing in the first sector, because Jamie made that mistake, cost him a tenth of a second. Cameron Dowd was fastest in the first sector. Oh, and he's just invalidated, actually, going on to his final run. I think he's still got time, potentially, to go for another run. I'm just going to see when the yellow flags come off on the top left-hand corner. I think he's got enough time to go for another run. He is really pushing on this one. He's 300 up through that first sector. That's all I'm saying through the first sector. He has got time for another run, but I think with his ERS, 60%, he is really wanting to try and set a delta.
Yeah, I think so as well. But you want to save a bit more ERS than that if you want to get another run in. But there's one man who I think can try and challenge at the moment. Watch out for Flopman and watch out for Renz. Both of them on a lap right now. And we'll see how much their lap times are in comparison to Cameron Dowd's. 21.551 in the first sector. Still not quite enough to meet Cameron Dowd's for Renz. And Flopman has invalidated on his run then at 21.6. And Ian Van Erven has also invalidated too. I believe, yep, he invalidated, I think, way early in the lap. I think it must have been the invalidated final corner. And he got this and next lap invalidated. So that is very cruel from the game. But let's watch Renz at the moment. Anyone else improving on their lap? Again, it's taking a while to update. Watch out for the man in P12. Ryan looking very good on his lap. Personal best first and second sector. But let's watch Renz as he goes up to the line. Is it going to be enough to beat Cameron Downs? The answer to that is no. But it's a big improvement. He's purple in the final sector, I believe, and he goes third fastest. Anyone else on the run? Ryan comes across the line in fifth. Flopman, like I was saying, has invalidated. He's not going to get a run in. Jeroen has invalidated too. Quite common for all the drivers to invalidate here as well. We got one of the McLarens, I believe, is either Baki or Matteo. It is Matteo first, and it is Baki. So let's ride on board with Matteo. Matteo, guess what? He has invalidated as Baki goes up to the line. Luckily, he's got a valid lap, so we'll see if he's going to do enough to beat the top guys. Is it going to be 1:15.8, third team, so not quite enough for the top 10. Zorzo, had a bit of a spin, I think, it's into the final few corners. Not ideal for him. We got, I think, Keke on a lap time. He's improving by about 2/10, James. I'll let you carry on.
He is 0.2 of a second coming to the final corner. He's the only one out there, I think, actually on the lap time right now, as Keke, the Ferrari man, comes through the final corner on the run to the line. And in the end, only goes 14th ahead of Nuth there. Nuth there down in 15th. Sapala is done in terms of a lap time. Cameron Dowd's on top, Flopman second, Renz Thomason there in third. All that came down to was not invalidating your lap time. And about half the field, I think, at least, on that final run, invalidated on the runs. Matteo was looking good. He was up in the first sector. He invalidated at the top of the hill, coming through turns 10 and 11 at Portimao. He invalidated through there. If he didn't invalidate, he would have been down in the middle sector anyways. I think it was a 10.5 down overall. But that's a very wide-looking Williams that I'm on board with there. Ryan going down the straight in towards turn number 1. But it is Cameron Dowd on top. And then in second, of course, Flopman in second. He's got the 5-place grid penalty, of course, getting removed. Renz Thomason there in third. Matteo there in fourth. 500th of a second covering the top 4. And what, a 10th of a second covering the top 6. Not bad there at all. Ian Van Erven there in 5th. Jamie there in 6th. Feddy there in 7th. And then Jeroen in 8th. Ryan there in 9th. Gustav running off the top 10. Then Zolzo in 11th. Volokongren in 12th. Only 5,000th of a second separating those guys out on track. Tim there in 13th. Keke there in 14th, Nuth there in 15th, and Baki down in 16th. Sapala really didn't get a lap time in, neither did Erpek. Erpek there down in 18th position, unfortunately not getting a lap time set in. But while we prepare for our legal blocking penalty to get removed, we can have a word from our sponsors, GTM Maker.
Welcome back to PSGL PSF1, and we can confirm we have got a lobby restart due to the illegal blocking, so hopefully we should get underway very, very shortly. Cameron Dowles, we thought he was going to miss out on his pole position, but the gods have spoken, and the lap that he set at the middle part of qualifying was enough to secure him pole position. He probably would have got a 15-2 if he didn't invalidate, so it just goes to show you got to hook up your lap as early as you can, like you were saying.
Definitely so, and I think we saw with Cameron Dowds, he improved on his first run, he barely improved on a second run, let's face it, and in the end only got on top from Flopman in second by 300ths of a second, I think it was, out on track, and it really comes to show why you get the runs in. Cameron Dowds had an opportunity to go for a final run, opted not to, which I think, looking on it, may have been a very good decision because obviously nobody was improving him behind. He was probably getting fed that information as well, Jess, in terms of an engineer. Probably somebody from Team Shazoo, I would expect, is engineering him here tonight. Probably Ron, if I would take a hazard a guess at who might be engineering him. But that engineering, I think, really came in clutch. Cameron Dowds on the top, Flopman there in second. But looking further down the field, we have got a whole breadth of talent here in PSF1. It is going to be really strong to see. And let's hope we can actually see Cameron Dowds on top, unlike his PSGL PSF3 race.
Yes, for the race where he ended up getting disqualified there as well. That's one thing I forgot to tell our social media manager, some facts about the PSF1 grid. Now, there is something else you can add to that. It's a shame I didn't know about it until you told me on stream, because that would have been an interesting fact, but that probably would have cursed Cameron Dowles there as well, but maybe a little bit of reverse psychology as well. But they're just about to get the grid set up, so Ryan will be setting it up in just a moment, so bear with, guys. But whilst we wait for that, let's talk about certain drivers that maybe did not have a good qualifying session. Volakongan, most of his laps, he either aborted or invalidated. Peck struggled a little bit as well. Tim didn't get as many runs in. Flopman was my biggest surprise. I was expecting him to be right near the top three, but he's lower down. It's not good for him in terms of the championship.
Flopman's in second, I think.
Oh, is it?
Meaning somebody else.
I thought it must have been starting positions on the Demolition Derby grid. I got a bit confused. Sorry about that.
No, he's second. He's second. He's behind Cameron Dowds, 300ths of a second off.
Oh, yeah. It was. Oh, yeah, because the illegal blocking penalty.
And he's put in chat always Flopman as well. So I'm guessing he heard what I said about the illegal blocking penalty as well. But in terms of further down the field, Mateo there in fourth. We saw him, 8th and 9th, I think, within that session with Renz Thomason. Renz starting ahead of him, Mateo there in fourth, getting their lap times in very late on. One name for me further down the field that I just want to shout out, Gustav. Down in P10, he only had one attempt to get a lap time in. That attempt put him 10th fastest, 0.3 of a second off Cameron Dowds.
Not bad.
It was a really good run by Gustav, but he had ended up invalidating his previous run. So it's going to be the case of if buts and maybes and absolutes for Gustav. He might have expected him not to invalidate the runs. He did invalidate the runs, and I think that really cost him time, I've got to say, out on track. But starting 10th, he is going to be starting from further down the field. Volakongan, one to watch out for as well, I think, in P12. He, again, 0.3 of a second off Cameron Dowds. He's very strong around this track in the race. I know that from F2 back in the day as well. And Volakongan, I think, was on the podium around here the last time in PSGL at PSF2 as well. So Volakongan, ever the consistent man, down in P12. It's going to be a struggle at the start. But if he starts on a set of soft compounder tyre and then transitions to a set of hards, it might just work for him.
Yeah, we're going to see, I think, quite a few mixture of strategies here tonight, with the softs to the hards or hards to softs being a bit more of a possibility. We could see some safety cars as well. The hards can last beyond the halfway stage of the race if they wanted to, or if they don't like the softs, they could pit early for a set of hards. They could get to the end of the race. 5 to 6% wear per lap is the soft tyres. That's what they got to bear in mind. 4%, I would say, roughly for the hards, and then about 5.5 for the medium compounder tyres. The drivers have been told to ready up, so we should be getting underway very, very shortly, James.
We shall be indeed, and I have just put in the chat as well on YouTube, and indeed, you guys on Twitch, we're not forgetting about you either as well. Let us know who you think is going to get in top of this race. I am going to go immediately, because I feel very confident about this. I am going Rens Thomason for the win. I've picked up Cameron Dowd saying he's going to get his race win in PSGL. I think there's just going to be something that happens in the race. I think Rens from third, ever the position you want to be in is third around this track. I think Rens for the win.
You're going Rens. Now, I was thinking Cameron, but every time I predict Cameron, he has a shocker. So, I think Flopman, he was so close to Cameron Dowd. He's going to get a nice potential turn in towards turn 2, turn 4. Maybe you can go and get the move there. You do not want to be the one in P1 towards the final lap if you're that close. So I think Flopman is going to get the win with Cameron Dowd in second. We got a few predictions in the chat. Yannick saying Ren's easy win. Jav saying Volakonga from P12. Well, you never know. He's done well in this track in the past. So, you know, he could prove us wrong in that respect as well. Be interesting to hear more of your predictions. But final plug for our sponsor before we get going. First of all, our partner Sim Racing Centre, where that provides setups, strategies, and coaching sessions from two-time esports champion Brendan Lee and lots of other esports drivers who do well in this game. So if you want to check out that, link in the description. You can get 10% off all of that using the code PSGL. And our title sponsor, PSGL, we're sat in these chairs. They're absolutely comfy. 5% off all GT Mega products using the code PSGL at checkout. Or you can click the link in the description, or use the command !GT Omega. So thank you to our two sponsors and partners. We couldn't do without you as well. Oscar saying Polish power in the chat. He's hoping Baki is going to do well. Again, bold prediction, but we haven't seen how well he's done here before, so it will be interesting.
To be honest, I'm really glad, actually, you didn't read out Jav's other comments saying you should have stuck James on track for an April Fool's. I mean, I got fourth in the PSGL Commentators Cup. If you want me on track against these guys, I could easily run against these guys if you want. But then again, I faced Jav in a league race recently, and I nearly hit him off the track, so I don't want that.
No, well, to be fair, James, these guys could run no assists. And can you run no assists?
No.
There you
That's
go.
Why I belong with Evan Dalton and F14.
Well, the thing that Evan's got over us, he's a PSGL champion. We're not. The closest you got was obviously P4 in the Commentators Cup. But, yeah. But an update on the weather, guys. It is going to be overcast for the start, but no rain expected. So it's going to be different to what we saw in F2, where it was completely wet for the entire thing. And Evan had to commentate on it by himself. Respect to Evan for doing that, so I don't think I would have managed. But it still looked like it was a great race. So I'm expecting a good race in PSF1 as well.
And I'm seeing, actually, just as I glance to the left-hand side of my screen, a set of soft compounder tyres actually selected in the Red Bull garage. So I wonder if Zolzo potentially is going to go for a set of soft compounder tyres. Here we go, though. 5 relights about a guide here for PSGL, PSF1. It is round 7 of the championship in Portugal, and it's lights out and away we go, and Cameron Dowd gets a very good start. There's already an incident further down the field. Don't think Baki has actually got off the start. Teki had a collision with him through turn number 1. We go. Cameron Dowd's lead. Ren's there in second, already ahead of him, and he's on that set of soft compounder tyre, so already going to try make that now. Look on the back of Cameron Dowd in towards turn number 4, then in through the left-hander of turn number 4, down the hill and towards turn number 5, and Ren's is already on the back of him. He's storming on the back of him, down and towards Torre Vip, turn number 5. Rens Thomason leads the way here in Portugal. Cameron Dowd's there in second, Flopman there in third. It is 3 wide in the background. Vola Kongan, Sapala, Urpek, Zolzal, Newton, Tim with 3 wide in pairs going through the corner, and they're still 3 wide in the background. Rens there leads the way though. Cameron Dowd's in second, Flopman there in third. We come through the roller coaster second for the first time as Zolzal was in strife coming through turn number 8 at Samsung.
There's lots of action happening at the moment, and the reason why Rens had such good getaway is he started on the soft compounder tyres, is the tyre that he started on. Cameron Dowd starting on the mediums. Only 3 people started on the soft compounder tyres. That was obviously Rens, and that was Jeroen and Urpek, I think it was, as well. Everyone else opts for the mediums. No one on the hards. So Not surprised, to be honest, but I thought more people would go on the hards because it's more durable to start with, but I think that strongly suggests that maybe it's not a good race tyre to start on with in terms of high fuel, and I could speak about that with experience. So 5/10 of a gap separating between Renz and Cameron Dowles. You've got the tyres on your screen now, so you guys can see what others are being on. Baki and Keke, unfortunately, they're going into the pit lane. They've once we had trouble at the restart as Sibilar gets past Noob for 11 plays in towards turn number 4. Yaron past Ian in towards turn number 5. Easy does it as well. He gets past Volakongan and Noob going side by side. Let hold on. I'm just trying to ride on board with them. We've got Urpek as well. Urpek's giving it absolute welly right now on track as he heads towards turn number 8 now. Ibe is up into P13. Keke now on a Seb. Saucy just pitted onto Baki onto a Seb Meme. So poor start for them, but we'll see what everyone else can do.
And again, Jamie really unstable in terms of the car, actually. Ian Van Noonen got caught in the inside curb through turn number 4. That's why he rolls through and he's into 4th. Ian Van Noonen there down to 5th. But Jamie's right on the back of Matteo. Matteo is looking slow. Can I say that? I think he's looking slow here in Portugal. The championship leader coming into tonight, he's got, what, a 20-point advantage, roughly?
He said he was struggling.
He said he was struggling in the on social media, and look at Jamie. He's keeping with him very easily indeed, running down the straight. Now, Jamie's got 50% of ERS down in towards turn number 1. Matteo's got 49, so they're pretty much level on an even playing field right now. And if I was in Jamie's shoes, I'd try and force Matteo into a bit of a mistake. The championship leader's there for the taking. Jamie may as well use that confidence to good effect, and do you know what? He's going to use it right now, down in towards turn number 5. Sorry, Vip, is he going to go for the late breaker down on the inside? No, he's not. He remains in behind. Matteo there in 2nd, but Jamie there in 7th. And Jamie, I think, just using it as a bit of a probe on the back of Matteo.
Yep, he is. I have to say, I've been very impressed in terms of Jamie at the moment, but that's going to allow the likes of Fede and Ryan to potentially close in on this train. Last week I said Ryan was doing well and he got involved in an instant, but right now he's looking good to be getting at some point so far. Sibilar and Tim side by side in towards turn 11, I think it was, and he got the move done very nicely through Portimao. So that was the job done. DRS is enabled. There are 2 DRS zones, one at the start, finish straight, and then we got the one heading towards in the middle of turn 4 in towards Torrevit. Those are the 2 DRS zones we got to keep an eye on today. So the first one is coming up right now. And the closest, Jamie on Matteo. Look at this, Matteo is struggling, isn't he? Jamie's going to launch for a move in towards turn number 1. He's thinking about going right, but Matteo covers off to the left. So Jamie's not going to go for it just yet. I think the easier move for him will be towards turn number 5. Anyone else looking closer? It's all so tight between 1st and 14th position. Cameron Dowles, I think, just saving a bit of tyre life for now, but I know Jamie's going to push, so we'll see what Jamie can do. He drops off the back a bit of Matteo. Fede, could he get past Jamie towards Torre Vip? Nope, he can't, not at the moment, but Gustav has something to say about getting involved in battles. He's passed Nooth up to 14th.
Yeah, I know Nooth was saying, actually, with his battles, let's just pull up with GL last week, that he would not get in anybody's way. He feels like he's out of place. Well, he's not out of place. He's there in 15th position, and he's there with Gustav. And Gustav, I think, is going to be a friend rather than a foe. They're both in the same esports team. They can work together to an extent. They might be in the same party with each other as well, so they can do that. But Nooth is definitely belonging in a position here. I mean, he's ever the stalwart on PSGL. He's there down in 15th. I hate to see drivers letting drivers through much easier than that. I think Nooth can have a bit of a fight, actually, with these guys and really put on a show as Renz leads the way. What I was going to come on to, actually, was about Renz. He hasn't escaped out of the DRS range. Normally, when you see races around this track, sometimes you see drivers escaping 3-4 seconds up the road. Renz is only 4/10 up the road. So Cameron Dowd is sticking him easily within DRS range. Flopman following through, your own following through. There's a big old DRS train all the way down to 13th. And speaking of 13th, here's Urpek to the inside line, in towards turn number 3 on the back of Volakongan, trying to get the job done through Lagos. Now through the left-hand turn number 4. This eye's up down the corner for Torrevit. Volakongan wide on the exit. Urpek now, the Italian stallion on the run down in towards turn number 5 at Torrevit. Volakongan nearly goes into the back of the Ferrari, just about avoids that, and Volakongan gets the better exit. Urpek was deep on the brakes, and Volakongan manages to move back through. He stays there in 12th position. Urpek again probing like what Jamie was doing earlier on. Jamie's still on the back of Matteo, but actually, speaking of which, Jess, Matteo's nearly outside of DRS range to Jamie, so this could cause a big split within the mid-pack of the field.
Yep, these drivers have got to get a move on, of course, and the air temperature at the moment is 24 degrees, track temperature 33 degrees, so the air temperature not ideal for them, but the track temperature is getting a bit hotter and hotter, obviously, as it gets more sunnier, but I think it's going to stay overcast for the rest of it, so it'll be trickier than what they would have practiced on in clear, dry conditions. It will be, I think, harder for the drivers to manage their tyre temperature, so we will keep an eye on that as well. Apparently, Matteo has got damage. That's why he was struggling on the likes of Jamie. Like, it doesn't look like he's got that much damage to me. It looks like he's got light damage, so I'd be to keep an eye on for the rest of this race, see how that develops. It might have been end plate damage that he's got or something by making contact. So what a shame for Matteo, but he's still in P6 though. So, and we've got a battle for the lead. Cameron Dowles down the inside of Rens Tomlinson in towards Torrevit. Gets the job done, what he needed to do in that AlphaTauri, and he's leading for now. So I wonder, James, if those softs are starting to give up the ghost as early as we thought.
I don't think so at this stage. I think Rens is sticking on in there. It's just the case, like Cameron Dowd is so much better in terms of ERS management. He has got 90% of ERS at the top of the hill through Portimao now at turn 11. Rens has only got 62%. 30% around this track is criminal to give away. And Cameron Dowd, as I've said so many times, I think this season, he's very good in terms of his ERS and tyre management. And that's what he said last week in his interview, his race-winning interview. He was very good, very much looking forward to this race. And you can tell he's coming in clutch. I mean, not coming in clutch for me in terms of prediction at the minute, but here comes Flopman, speaking of which, on the back of Rens of my prediction, down in towards turn number 1, the Frenchman even on the inside line, on the Dutchman in towards turn number 1, easy as you like. Flopman through, he's into second. Rens tries to get the switchback out of 1, in towards turns 2 and 3. Can't. Ian Van Noonen back into 4th as well on your own. And that split has now happened, actually, from Ian Van Noonen all the way down the field. He's outside of DRS range. He can stay within Rens if he's got lower wings, but it is going to be a struggle.
It could be a struggle for Ian Van Noonen right now, and that's going to allow Jeroen to gain a big advantage, especially on those softs. So if he wants to get past, he needs to get past ASAP before the softs decide to give up the ghost for Ian Van Noonen. It looks like he's managing okay. It's around about the 20% mark in terms of tyre life for Ian Van Noonen. So once it gets past that, around 25%, that is where he's going to start to struggle for Ian Van Noonen. Whereas Jeroen, we can't tell what he is at the moment. He's probably around about the 30% mark. That's in comparison to the medium compounder tyres. So, yeah, I have to say, ERS management is going to be key. Tyre management is going to be key as well. Because once you pass 20%, that is way... Oh, it's the one spin at the end!
Oh.
I did say that he was managing his tyres very well, and boom, he's gone to a spin. Luckily, he's ghosted on my screen, but the roller coaster section is definitely giving people problems as he knocks the bollard over, but I don't think he's got much damage. He's dropped all the way down into 14th position, and I'm looking at his tyre temps right now. His rears are absolutely cooking. But there's battles happening at the front. We got Jeroen
Matteo.
and Matteo.
Yeah, Matteo through and he's into 4th, went around the outside of Jeroen and towards turn number 1. If he's got damage, it is definitely likely that he's got damage, but it's not affecting him in one bit if he can go around the outside of Jeroen on a set of medium compounder tyres. Beautiful stuff by the championship leader, and he stays now within touch of Rens, Flopman and Cameron Dowd. And that 2-second gap is only going to grow stronger. It is only going to grow longer and longer between Rens and Matteo. So what Matteo's going to have to do now is treat everyone behind as if they're essential snails, I've got to be honest. Jeroen and Jamie, 5th and 6th position. Matteo's just going to hold them up. He's going to park the bus, basically, is what I'm trying to say. He's on the back of Rens. You can see coming through the corners, it's not that too bad. Coming through the right-handed corners, it's not too bad. But it's the left-handed corners where he's feeling that effect. So that seems to me as if he's got left side end plate damage rather than right side. But then again, coming through turn 14 and 15, he's managing to stay within 2 seconds of Rens. So that damage is affecting him in a sense, but it's not affecting him too bad, as Jamie's now on the back of Jeroen, down in towards turn number 1. Is he going to look for the move, the Mercedes man, on the back of the Aston Martin, in towards turn number 1. Jamie, who has been taking this race very consummately so far, to the inside line. Jeroen getting blocked in on the outside. Jamie hangs on to the inside, to be fair to Jeroen. Still hangs on around the outside. Jamie tries to get the apex first. Not quite. Jeroen through and he's into 5th. Good battle, that.
That was a very nice battle, but we are starting to see Jamie starting to potentially go for the overtake into turn number 5. He's not going to go for the overtake in towards turn number 5, and we're starting to see the cost of the damage between Matteo and the other guys. Matteo is losing out on this train now. He's nowhere near the top 3, and that's hurting everyone else behind. So I think Matteo has just got to live with it. Like you were saying, he is managing very, very well, and sometimes you've got to defend for your life, like we saw the likes, obviously, Daniel Ricciardo in Monaco. I remember one season where he, I think he lost a bit of power, but he was still able to defend off Lewis Hamilton one year and win in Monaco. So it is still possible for Matteo to do that as well, and that just goes to show how good of a caliber driver that he is. He is still going to be leading the championship going into next week. So, but he just doesn't want the gap to come down that fast, because otherwise he could get into some bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Cameron Dow's still holding off the DRS between himself and Flopman. Meanwhile, Ren's still within DRS of Flopman, but obviously we've got to keep an eye on the ERS. Ren's managing the ERS absolutely perfect. He wants to make sure he has enough ERS for later on in the stint, but potentially when he pits. The midfield is going to get interesting though. Guess who else is on the back of this train? We got Ryan and Fede join the party, and we got Cipolo as well, trying to go side by side with Ryan up the inside into the middle of turn 4. This is where DRS is enabled, and we can see some brave moves from Cipala heading towards turn number 5 through Torrevit in the left-hand side of Ryan. Can he do it? Looks like he's got the job done, but I think Ryan's going to try and get a better line. No, Ryan backs out of it. Sapala up into 8th spot in his race. Some decent points so far. And what a great move from the Alpine driver, James.
Yeah, Ryan gave him room coming off track as well. Wanted to rejoin him behind Sapala. I think that was very smart driving from the German there.
Yeah.
In 9 Sapala there. And again, they're going to be in the same party, so they're going to be communicating that. Matteo, by the way, it's the first sector I think he really loses that time. 3.2 seconds. Look at Cameron Dow down in front. 1.8 seconds. He's having fun with these guys. 51% of ERS. Flopman on 9%. Already out of battery. Cameron Dowd is doing what he didn't manage to do in PSGL PSF3 in season 30, and that might be to win a race at this early stage. Jamie, however, on the back of your own, in towards turn number 1. Freddie's going to try and come storming at the Aston Martin as well in towards turn number 1, but I think everyone is going to run in a nice line of stern formation as we have lost Jess from the session. Hopefully we'll be able to get it back. What I can do, though, is go into radio commentary for now. Cameron Dowd's lead by 1.7 seconds. Flopman there in 2nd. Ren's there in 3rd. Just while we have a little bit of a break, I'll try and get you back in, Jess.
Thank you. And I'll let you do some radio comms. I'll have to restart my game, so I'll do that. You carry on, James.
There we are. Still coming through turn number 5. Nothing really happening, I've got to be honest, in terms of the racing out on track. You have now got another invite off me into the lobby. Now we can continue the radio silence comms. It's a bit like David Croft when he started off in Radio 5 Live. But there we are. Urpek there on the back of Volakongan, 10th and 11th position out on track. Flopman there in 2nd, Ren's there in 3rd. This is the battle actually for 2nd. Ren's has got so much better battery compared to Flopman. Flopman is on 13%. Ren's on a set of soft compound tyres, 81%. As they come now through the right-hand turn number 14, the MotoGP out there on the left, the layout even of the MotoGP on the left-hand side. Liberty Media, of course, spying MotoGP today. Not an April Fool's joke either. Ren's now coming through the final corner on the run toward the line. Is he going to try and get a sense of Flopman down in towards turn number 1? Closing in grimly, closing in, inside line, job done. Ren's Dooney's into 2nd, Flopman saw what was coming. Ren's Dooney's into 2nd, Flopman there in 3rd, Matteo there in 4th, and as you roll, Jamie, Fede, Sapala, Ryan, Volakongan top 10, Urpek, Tim, Gustav, Zolzo, Ian Van Unen top 15, and Keki back in Nuth as it stands out on track. Nuth might have damage potentially on that car. He's came into the pit lane on that side of hard compound tyres right down on the back end of the field. We've got another battle now progressing out on track. This between Jamie and Yaron in towards Torrevit with turn number 5. Not getting the job done there. Jamie there in 6th, Yaron there in 5th. We'll continue with radio comms while we try and get Jess back in the session. She has just joined, so we will be back in 30 seconds in terms of the coverage. But Cameron Dowd's leading the way. Ren's there in 2nd, Flopman there in 3rd. Ian Van Unen further down the field. He's gone on to set a hard compound tyres, and he's just picked up the first 3-second penalty of the night as well. Everyone in a real train, I've got to say, coming through this, all behind Matteo, stuck behind the bus essentially in that McLaren. You're on there in 5th, Jamie there in 2nd, on lap 12 out of 33, about to go into lap 13 out of 33. Cameron Dowd's lead, Ren's Thomas in 2nd, Flopman there in 3rd, and hopefully by now we'll have Jess back in terms of the coverage.
We're all good. We're all good. We can see everything. Thank you so much, James, for covering that. I literally don't. There are days during the week where there are issues with the internet. I think today is being one of them, unfortunately. Flopman does get past Renz Tomlinson after second. And there's people that are wanting a red flag. Nope, we're not getting any red flags. No chance. It was just my internet. Everyone else is absolutely fine. So we can't just have a red flag for one driver, unfortunately, as we're starting to see Ren's closing in right now. I'm actually quite impressed. The ones on the soft tyres managing the pace a little bit. In particular, Ren's and your own as well. I thought that the softs were going to die off by now, but that just goes to show why, James, we're in the commentary box and everyone else is racing out there on track. And plus, I can't race with no assist to save my life. 2.4 seconds between himself and Cameron Dow's Flopman right now as well. But Jamie in 6th place doing very well. He's closing in on your own, so the softs are not going to last forever, so we'll see what they can do towards turn number 12. It is brightening up here on around this circuit as well in Portimao. It's the roller coaster section that you're appearing on right now, and I think we can see Jamie starting to close in. He's got a bit of straight line speed compared to Jeroen, and we'll see how much ERS he's got at the moment. As we've seen our first pitters, Jeroen, the first of the soft runners, James, to come in.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm also not surprised that Renz has gone down the inside line of Flopman and towards turn number 1. Job done for him in towards Primera, and that is him through he's into second. Now, Flopman, I was going to say this, actually, just before you came in there with that point. Renz there in second, Flopman in third. If I was Flopman right now, I'd think about coming onto a set of hard compounder tyres. I really would. The set of hard compounder tyres are not that great for the first 2 or 3 laps in their stint. But by the time he comes in, and by the time Cameron Dowd and Renz stretch out their stint, essentially, especially Cameron Dowd in the lead, Flopman could gain a big undercut on Cameron Dowd, and that big undercut could transpire for him to win that race. It could be a decisive move. It might not be. It could completely backfire and work to Cameron Dowd's favour, which more than likely it could. But Flopman, if I was in his shoes right now, I'd be trying something different. He clearly is not liking that sort of medium compounder tyre.
No.
He's clearly got less EOS compared to Renz, 40% less than Renz. I think if Flopman wants to try and do something decisive in this race, I think he comes in the pit lane, follows Renz, he goes under a set of hards, Renz could go on a set of mediums, he might go on a set of hard compounder tyres though. You're on a set of mediums. If I was in Flopman's shoes, I'd be coming in, but he is going to try and stretch the stint, and he's going to try down the hill and towards turn 1 on Primera, and it's through and he's into second for Flopman. So clearly, Flopman not listening to B-Tech James Head here in the chat.
So you like to be called B-Tech today, aren't you? Very interesting, James, as well, as Flopman gets past Renz up into second place. But yeah, I would go on to a set of the hard compounder tyres as well, be on the same strategy. We know how the undercut could be powerful in this game, and speaking from experience, I stayed out quite a bit on, I think it was a medium tyres in a 2-stop race around here, and the more I stayed out, the more I lost time. So they've got to think about what strategy they're going to go on ASAP. We haven't had any safety cars as of yet, so that's going to play a massive factor. Obviously, weather plays a factor, and we're not going to get any rain, so there's going to be, I think, to gut things right, there's going to be a safety car. Renz almost looked onto the back of Flopman there and towards Portimao turn 11, but he's not going to do it thus far as well. So I think I won't be surprised if both Flopman and Renz follow each other in as well. And if those two come in, the likes of Jamie and Matteo will come in, maybe follow suit as well. It's about pretty much adapting to what's around you. If you've got a planned strategy, but you realise that going on to a different tire will be quicker, go on that. Renz does come in, as my prediction. Flopman does stay out and does not follow him, so I think Flopman wants to go on to a set of the soft compounder tyres later on in the race. Renz, I would expect them to go on to the medium compounder tyres, follow Congan and Ryan side by side towards turn 1, follow Congan.
Beautiful.
Nicely timed from him through turn 2, and he's up into 7th place. We've got Erpet that's in as well. I think Ryan is not going to give this one up, so let's watch on the back of him. He's got around about 30% ERS, and I don't think he's going to do enough to get past for the Congan. Nope, he is not so far. Bit of a lock-up in turn 5 and 2 over it. Look at that DRS train from P4 all the way up into P8. And by the way, Jamie is ahead of Matteo at the moment, so he's going to try and chase down the top 2. These guys have got to manage their tyres now if they want to get the soft work, because otherwise it's going to be impossible. But Never say never. We've seen the likes of Yaron get those softs around about 14 laps. So if he could do it, any of these guys could do it.
And speaking of your own, coming in nicely onto my point, he's ahead of Renz Thomason out on track. That 2-lap undercut, so important around the track. Now, your own 25% of ERS, he's in the same predicament of what Flopman was when he was on that set of medium compounder tyres. Flopman obviously can't go mediums. It's impossible. You can't do that because you get disqualified at the end of the race. I think, personally, he should have went for set of hards, but obviously he's holding out, like Cameron Dowd, for set of soft compounder tyres. Yes, they're going to be quicker, but if they ride off at about a 6% rate, is what I've got in our notes, they're going to struggle to get to the end of the race, quite frankly. Your own managed it. It's probably around about 65%, I would say, from his perspective. And if that's towards the end of the race, they're going to be absolutely shot. As Matteo, looking on the inside line of Jamie and towards turn number 5, forces Jamie very late on the brakes there, makes a slight mistake, but Jamie still remains in third. Matteo there in fourth, Freddy there in fifth. The drivers ahead have got to go on a set of soft compounder tyres. I'm just slightly surprised that Flopman didn't try to do something decisive, because I think for 2 laps there, he could have potentially got an undercut on Cameron Dowd. Judging by the gap now and judging by Yaron and him nearly running out wide coming through turn number 11 as well, judging by where Yaron and Renz are, they're going to work together. Flopman is in trouble, and Flopman is going to be behind Renz and Yaron when he decides to come in the pit lane. No other question about it.
Yeah, indeed. And I think at this stage, that is where we're going to see the real pecking order as well. And it's going to come to whether you want track position or whether you want to fight for it. And I know they want some clear air as well. So it's going to be interesting. As soon as one person follows suit, everyone else is going to be like a chain reaction. But Matteo's going to fight Jamie once again down the inside towards turn number 1. That's one piece of the pudding done for Matteo. A lot better for him so far, but I wonder if he's going to come in and repair his front wing. We've got Sapala again and fighting with Fede towards turn number 4. Couldn't quite do it on this occasion, but he's going to try and go once again. Downhill towards turn number 5. Ian is out of the race. Ian's out of the race, and we've got a safety car, James. That has neutralised the field, and that is bad news if you just pitted, but good news for P1 to 11 because you get a free pit stop.
It is good as well, because I think the set of softs can get to the end of the race now as well. So it's a perfect time actually for Flopman. He's been saved in this race. Gotta feel sorry for Renz and Yaron. Yes. Renz down the field is what? Behind Cameron Dowd's 32.3 seconds is the gap between Renz and Cameron Dowd's under the safety car. The pit stop around here, if I'm not mistaken, is about 27 seconds, I think, on average. Maybe about 28 seconds, something like that. It is going to be, unfortunately, into pit lane. Ian actually mentioning, because that was a very weird part of the track that he crashed in at. He was going into the pit lane, and my AI drove into the pit wall. So that's why we've got that safety car in Van Unen. The lesson I think learnt there is don't go into AI. Never trust an AI on this game. You're still responsible for your own actions. And unfortunately, Ian Van Unen has just found that out the hard way. Unfortunately, Matteo saved. Sapala's actually just got overtook Jamie into the pit lane. So Sapala's into 4th. Jamie there in 5th. I think Ryan and Gustav have just done the same thing there as well. But everyone into the pit lane. Everyone will be coming on a Red Bull tyre. Renz and Yaron, if they are staying out, they're coming through the final corner.
If they get Renz on softs, they got to. They got to. Because everyone else is going to be on softs. If they stay on mediums, they're going to get absolutely swamped. And they're going to get past. So if you have, everyone should have a set of softs that they haven't used in qualifying, so they can use that. So everyone is going out on softs. KK.
Oh, Sapala and
what's happened to
Sapala and Jamie were inside of each other. Sorry.
Yeah, they were inside of each other. That was weird. I didn't catch it on stream because it was a very weird thought. Now, only one that is not on the softs is Urpek. He's on mediums. And Keke's going to go on some fresh softs now, but interesting for Urpek that he's opting for durability rather than pure speed at this point.
He hasn't got another set of soft compounder tyres because he started on that set of soft compounder tyres at the start of the race. So that's why he's had to transition onto a set of medium compounder tyres. In the whole grand scheme of things, it's not going to look too bad when drivers are going to be wearing out their tyres towards the end and the mediums are going to be the quicker tyre. We saw with Cameron Dowd, as Dean Van Unen there leads the session, we saw with Cameron Dowd how good he was on that sort of medium compounder tyres and how Renz and Flopman got into their own battle and then ended up having Cameron Dowd 4 seconds up the road, I think it was, before the safety car came out. That, honestly, around this track, if Erpek can stay on the back of Rennes, he's in with a fighting chance. The tyres will come to him towards the end of the race, but it's all dependent on, A, whether we get another safety car, or B, whether there's incidents ahead of him to cause that. Erpek there in 14th, gonna be unlikely, I think, to try and feature everyone on a set of soft compound tyres. What this does do, though, Jess, is save Flopman's race and Matteo's race, and it'll be interesting to see, actually, if Matteo did get that front wing damage fixed in the pit lane. Judging by where he is on track, I don't think he did.
Or he might have realised, oh, actually, it wasn't worth repairing that damage. Or maybe, because one thing you need to do on this game is, if you have green front wing damage, if you have anything less than, I would say, orange or yellow, as what's happened there?
I'm just watching what's happened. Ian Van Unen has sent in a video on Discord. And he is into the safety car. He's perfectly within track limits. He's gone into AI coming into the pit lane.
And that is why, that's why you shouldn't go AI. Don't go AI at any point. Yeah.
Right on AI, and then he's hit the pit wall. His AI has just drove him straight left into the pit wall. Nothing you can do about it, but stewards will argue he was in control of his car, and he's responsible for his own actions.
I forgot I literally was going to say at this point, but let's run through your order then from 1st down to 17th. So Cameron Dow's pretty much been leading this race from lights to flag, with a few changes up the front for the first few laps. Flopman in P2, Matteo in P3. As I was saying about Matteo, unless you set your repair front wing damage to yes, repairing like green and maybe lime front wing damage, it'll just keep it. So repair front wing damage set to yes if you're in a league race, then that will save all your troubles. And even if you don't get damage during the race, set it anyway, maybe during a safety car or during a quiet period, because you never know when you're going to use it. Safety car is in this lap, as Cameron Dow's is going to be the Burt Mylander in this situation. And since you covered the start, James, I may as well let you become lead commentator for this race. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, Cameron Dowd's taking it very slow, coming through the right-hander now of turn number 14. Flopman is not going to let Cameron Dowd get away. We can tell with his actions already he wants to be jumping on the back of Cameron Dowd in towards turn number 1 and hopefully trying to get the overtake done on him as well. Cameron Dowds do get the corner now at turn number 15. That blind crest that I talked about in the outlap. Cameron Dowds has gone though, and Flopman has got nothing to live with that at all. Matteo is living though with Flopman running down the straight towards turn 1. Cameron Dowds is sitting back. Matteo goes to the outside line, and he might get both of them down the straight. Flopman now on the inside line. Watch out for Matteo though, around the outside. Championship leader can't manage the move. Flopman leads the way, but Cameron Dowds gets back on the up and under. Coming down towards turn number 3 at Lagos, a real pinch point on the circuit. Flopman and Cameron Dowds. Flopman still leads the way. Cameron Dowds in second. Matteo there in third. Matteo tried as he must. He's ended up in exactly the same position he was in under the safety car restart. Cameron Dowds now trying to go to the inside line of Flopman. Flopman gives him room. Nice move there by Cameron Dowds. Force him off track. Matteo there could get the run. Now in towards turns 7 and 8, in toward the right-handers. But Cameron Dowds leads. Flopman in second. Matteo there in third. Fantastic racing from all of them. And Flopman in the end couldn't find the way through. And we're exactly in the same position as we were on the safety car restart.
That was absolutely incredible from our top three. They gave just about enough room. I think we were cutting it fine a little bit there. I thought it was going to be too close to contact, but they're absolutely fine. It's a good job on the top three. Sapala almost got in there as well. It shows how fast he has been in the last few races as well. He's improved so much this season. And Rennes, what could have been for him? He's passed Zorzo up into P10, but how long is he going to keep it? We'll have to wait and see. But Zorzo's got some straight line speed in the background as well. We'll keep an eye on what's going out in front, because Matteo, it looks like he's repaired his damage. It looks like he's definitely repaired his damage, because Flopman and Cameron Dow's trying to go side by side. Matteo's going to force himself through past maybe both cars. He's going to try and get past Flopman to start with through turn 3.
Oh, what a move.
And Matteo's got him. And Tapala almost went off the track there. Luckily, no unsafe rejoin there. Flopman's going to go for a switchback. A Drake rally outside goes Tapala through turn 5 and Torre Vip. Can he make it stick this time as he goes off the curb if he makes his stick, fair play to the Alpine driver for doing so. But all of this is allowing the top two to pull away with it, and they just about make contact in towards turn number 8. We got Jamie in there as well. Jamie's thinking, if you keep squabbling, I could try and go for the move. Jamie trying to go up the inside in towards turn 10 or 11 and Portimao. He can't make the move stick. This is absolutely insane stuff. Rise up to 7th out of all this as well. He's going to do a switchback of dreams. And Flopman's trying to go through it. Flopman's down to 4th in all of that. And Zapala's up to 3rd. The top two are just the top two are just running away with it right now. But there's just so much battling. Jade, what's happening?
Ryan just gone around the outside of turn number 14 on Fetty. That's what happened there. Williams, man, threw these into 6th. I tell you what, these guys, honestly, we're past the watershed. We've got some balls out on track quite literally from these guys. It is absolutely brilliant to watch out for. These guys, honestly, so aggressive in terms of the racing, but yet so clean as Flopman goes the inside on Sapala. That's exactly what I mean. Very aggressive, but really getting the job done from Flopman. He's doing these into 3rd. I wonder if he's got a little bit of damage potentially on that car. And that's why he's just struggling on the back of Matteo. Oh, and speaking of damage, there is Fetty with damage. Right side end plate damage on the back of Ryan. He's nearly been spun as well. Tim nearly collects him. I think he might have left side end plate damage on that car as well. Renz Thomason is now mincing his way through the field as well into 8th position. Fetty's definitely got damage. He's going off track and he's going to let everyone through. Fair play to the Aston Martin, man. Getting out of trouble, getting out of the way. Exactly
definitely more than green. Definitely more.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think more orange or yellow front wing damage plate for the likes of Fede, which is a bit of a shame because he was doing so well and getting involved in the battle. I do believe DRS will be enabled soon, so it's now a second chance, second roll of the dice for these guys to go for the move. They're all on the same tie as the top 14. There's going to be a common thread for all of them. We've got Cameron Albertao, Flopman, Sapala, top 4. Jamie Ryan, your top 6. Tim and Renz, top 7 and 8. And also your own. Round up your point scorers for now. Here comes Matteo. Is he going to try and go for it towards turn 1 this time? Nope, he's going to be very, very patient indeed. Renzo, he's right on the back of Tim. He can't do so at the moment. So let's jump back to the top 2. I think we're going to keep an eye on Matteo's ERS. He's around about, I would say, 40-30% mark. We can see whether it's, I think Matteo's got more of a downforce type of car. Just look at how he's closing on the corners, but on the straights, Cameron Dowd is just pulling away. Cameron Dowd is definitely running lower wings than Matteo, it looks like.
He's running lower wings, and he's running a lot more ERS. Simple as that. Cameron Dowd, there's nothing really that needs to be more said, I think, about his performance so far. He is pulling away. He's 8.5 tenths clear. Matteo, remember, he hasn't got that damage replaced. He's still got that left side end plate damage from earlier on in the race. That light green damage that he's got, as Nicolo reported there in the chat. Matteo there in 2nd. Now he's beginning to tell the difference. This is the difference now between a driver that wants to try and escape out of DRS and a driver that's got damage, and you can tell which one is which. Cameron Dowd's leading the way. Matteo in 2nd. Matteo is doing a fantastic job, don't get me wrong, with that damage. He's pulling away from Flopman. Flopman there in 3rd. His over-aggressiveness might just be costing him in terms of the tyres. Jamie, however, though, is the man to watch out for, I think, in this race. He's there in 5th position. Did a really good lap in terms of qualifying. Volokonglen through on Gustav down in towards turn 1, gets the job done on him. Jamie's the man to watch out for. Flopman, you know where he's going to go. He's going to come back into the clutches of Sapala. Jamie there in 5th is going to come forward into the clutches of Sapala, and they're all going to get caught in a 3-wide battle. The front two are going to escape away, and it's going to be them 3, I think, for the final point score, for the final podium position. Cameron Dowd's leads. Matteo 2nd. Gap now out to a 2nd. Cameron Dowd has got 13% of EOS. Matteo's got 8%. Cameron Dowd manages EOS better. That's what's going to win them this race at this stage.
Yes, at the moment, though, he's around about, I think, 7 or 6%. So he was pushing a little bit just to get out of ERS. So surely Matteo must know what Cameron Dowd's ERS is like if someone is jeffing him. You know, he must be telling him, look, Cameron is running low on ERS. You try and save on ERS so you have more advantage on him. But he's hardly got much ERS himself. So that's going to benefit the likes of Sapala, the likes of Jamie behind as well. That could close in quite a bit as well. But Matteo's dropped off of DRS of Matteo. So he literally got multiple battles happening in a space of a few corners. It's absolutely insane. Jamie, I believe, is going to take advantage on Sapala into towards turn number 1. But nobody's going to be very, very patient at the moment. Noob and Gustav having a battle in the back, only for 15th place, mind. But still, There is a battle going out on track. Not long to go until this race. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell if you are new. And someone has asked in the chat, how on earth is Flopman getting gapped by Matteo with damage? I don't know. It just goes. I think what the answer is Matteo is just managing the damage very well, and maybe Flopman is just overdoing it. He's over pushing it.
It's what I said a couple of minutes ago, actually. I think Flopman's got a little bit of damage potentially on that car. It looks more significant than Matteo.
Yeah.
But it's not significant, if you know what I mean. It's not like orange end plate damage on that car. Matteo's got light green damage, is what was reported earlier on. Flopman, I think, has got more green damage.
I don't think he's got damage. I don't think Flopman's got damage. I think he might just be overdoing it.
Maybe it's the tyres then.
Yeah, it's got to be his tyre temperature, because you always have to tempt him when the safety car restart is to push from the get-go. But you can't really do that lap after lap, because that's when he really starts to struggle. And then suddenly you're like, oops, your ERS is just dying, and you got to be on the cusp of like Sapala and Jamie. So I think it's just the tyres. But we might be wrong. That's why we are in the comms box as well. But Benza thinks it's a skill issue. Interesting. But it is bound to be at the tyres as well. But at the end of the day as well, Jav thinks Cameron is just pulling away from them with or without damage and saying enough with the excuses. Good stuff though, goes into the pits. We know he's got damage. He's going to go for a set of soft, James.
He is for a set of soft compound tyre. He needs a safety car to get into this race, as does Fetty, I think, further down the field. He's there, I think, going to be having their own private battle for 16th position. Unfortunately, no point scoring position for 16th, and Fetty there getting ahead of Gustav coming out of the pit lane. But yeah, coming back to Jav's point, actually, it's what I said earlier on about Cameron Dowd. I think, as I've said, the last couple of races that I've seen from Cameron Dowd, he has just got so much better in terms of ERS management and time management than the rest of the field. And yeah, Matteo might have damage. It's light green damage. There's no excuse. Cameron Dowd is just quicker than Matteo here out on track, full stop. He is just so much better around this track. It's very similar, actually, to that PSGL PSF3 race that we had with Cameron Dowd, his debut race in PSGL PSF3 in season 30, where he gapped the field to, I think, about 5.5 seconds before the line, and then ended up getting disqualified because I think something happened in qualifying, and he got disqualified because of it. But Cameron Dowd, here tonight, he's not getting disqualified. He's a full-time driver now in PSF1. Definitely not going to be back on PSF3 anytime soon. Matteo there in second. Very good driver, Matteo. Championship leader. It's up to the championship, though, Jess, because Cameron Dowd is gaining points to Matteo.
Yeah, but because Matteo is in second position, Cameron is not going to be gaining that much. I think only like a few points he's going to gain on. So Matteo's still going to have a comfortable move, comfortable gap between the top two. So bring it on over the last 4 rounds. But after this, we've got 4 more weeks of action. We've got Baku next week. God forbid. We've got Netherlands after that on the 15th of April. Then we've got Brazil. Then we're going to finish off at Austin, Texas. Those will be the final 4 rounds after Portimao. And by April 29th, we will then find out who will be the PSF1 champion. It is a short season, which means certain drivers don't have long at all to get into the championship fight. I'm sorry, some drivers are already out of the championship fight because we don't have long to go until the end of the season. But for certain drivers, this is their last chance to really put themselves on the front foot and still be within the likes of Cameron Dowd and Matteo in this championship. So we'll see what we can do. Lap 29 of 33 then. 2.3 seconds is the gap. I think we're not going to see some moves and potentially until the penultimate few laps. I think there's a few patient drivers that don't want to take too many risks too soon.
Jav saying in the chat, basically no one is overtaken until the final round. Nobody's overtaken until the final couple of laps is what Jess has just said there as well. And I totally agree with that. But I'm looking on board with Sapala. Jamie there in 5th as well. These guys, I think, need to get a move on. Flopman looks weak in front of him. Flopman, if he's got damage, which I believe he has, it might be just the case where he hasn't got the pace. If he's got damage, he is going to be struggling throughout the entirety of this race, as is Matteo. Sapala and Jamie are there, potentially for Flopman and Matteo for the taking. So if them two can really get on the back of Flopman, put Flopman under pressure, down in towards turn number 1. Perfect time to do it. Coming through turn number 1. and then force him out wide. He makes that mistake, and then Sapala slips through on the inside. That's what I'm hoping for. Sapala's got more ERS than Flopman, about 16% more. That's going to come in clutch towards the end. But look at the straight line speed compared to them. Sapala closing in now on Flopman in towards turn 1. Not going to be a move this time around. But there is the probe from Sapala. Next time around, I guarantee you, Sapala will grow impatient and he'll go for the move.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think he's saving his ERS and tires as well, because again, if you push too early, too soon for the whole of the stint, that is where you're going to struggle. So, or maybe they're going to DRS each other, you never know. And he's going to deliberately brake a little bit earlier than you would expect, just to save on the tyre life as well. So will the other drivers around him. And the likes of Ryan and Tim will be thinking, hang on, if any of the drivers in front will make a mistake, it could be mine for the taking. Tim invalidated his runs during qualifying. He only got, I think, one run in qualifying, and he's still in P7 right now. He's having a really decent race. He's gained 6 places. Sapalo up 13. Those two, I have to say, definitely the biggest improvement so far in this race as well. Mateo's gained 2. Flotman down 1. Biggest loser so far, the one still here. Fede down 10, and Ren's down 5. Obviously, Ren's got unlucky with his pit stop, but you never would have predicted what if there was a safety car or anything like that, because most of the time safety cars don't come at all whenever I'm commentating or racing, so it might just be the commentator's curse there as well. Lap 31 of 33. Zapata is gonna. I think he's gonna wait to the penultimate lap. I think you're right there.
Oh. But that was perfect, though, because Slotman went deep in towards turn number 1. Mateo was slow coming out of the corner, and now Mateo's going to try and back up Flotman into Sapala. This is perfect for Sapala, because he can now launch an attack potentially on the back of Flotman. As you say, I think he's going to wait until the final 2 laps of the race, maybe until the final lap, but Sapala has just made contact with that back of the rear end. He's like, come on, you've got to get on with this. You've got to try and get onto the back of Mateo. If you want a podium, you've got to try and attack him. I want to attack both of you, though, was what Sapala was saying, and he's right on the back. But as I said earlier on, watch out for Jamie. He's got more ERS than Sapala, 40% to 38. Flopman's on 37, Mateo's on 25. Jamie at the minute, with his straight line speed and with Zapala's straight line speed, they're going to come into this right into the final 2 laps of the race. Cameron Dowds will lead, Mateo there in second. Cameron Dowds, unless there's an act of God, he's definitely going to win this race. Oh, it's Ryan nearly goes into the back of Jamie, coming through turn number 14. That's unsettled the car, and now puts Tim and Renz on the front foot, coming down the hill in towards Galp at turn 15. Cameron Dowds leads, Mateo there in second, Flopman there in third. Everyone looking quite weak down the straight for now. They're going to wait until the final lap, Jess.
Yeah, they are going to wait until the final lap of this race. We've got 1.5 laps to go of this one. Ooh. And Keke past Volakongan. What a move from Keke. He's 1 place and he could get points potentially. As Volakongan's going to fight back in the inside towards turn 4. He does it. But look at this. Keke going to get the switch back as well. And this is a fight for P11, James. P11 in towards Torre. It is not for points, but they're still going to go for it right now. There's also battling happening in the background near the front, but this is what we want to see right now. Keke versus Urpek in towards turn 7 now, in towards turn number 8. How are they not having too much contact down the hill? This is insane. Still going side by side up there towards turn number 9. Keke to the right-hand side now, in towards Portimao, turn 10 and 11. Keke's got this move done. Incredible from him. And it's insane right now. Tim's going to try and go for a move on Zorzo towards turn number 12 and 13. Tim's cast him for now. Keith's position. Sorry, what?
Yeah, that was Renz getting on Tim, actually.
Oh, that was Renz on Tim. That was Renz. So Renz up to 7th. It was, I think Zorzo made a mistake, and that was Tim as well. So that's what got me confused. But final lap as Flopman gets past Mateo into second. But Mateo is going to have for the fight back. I'll let you cover the rest of this, James.
Flopman into second, trying to make escape now on Mateo. Mateo's got that left side end plate damage on that car. Tim trying to fight back on the back of Renz in towards turn number 1. Nuke there as Ran. There's also a yellow flag for Gustav in the final sector. That's on the other side of the track. Luckily, Gustav now, Sapala now on the back of Mateo, running down in towards turn number 5. Still side by side between Renz and Renz. Oh, and actually, Sapala's been contacted by, I think, Jamie coming through the left-hander there at turn number 5. There was so much going on, trying to cover the Renz and Tim battle, and then that happens in front. Unfortunate there for him. Sapala there down into 9th position. Keki's now got a 3-second penalty. Cameron Dowds leads. Flopman there in second. Mateo there in third. Mateo's got a little bit extra battery. for this final run through the final sector we come. Can the Italian try and get on the back of the Frenchman for second position? I don't think it looks likely at this stage. It might be the drag race to the line that kicks in, but Cameron Dowd, Flying Scotsman 2.0, as I give him his nickname, he is going to be taking points out of Matteo, taking points out of the rest of the field. Cameron Dowd's now through the final corner. The championship fight is well and truly on. Cameron Dowd wins in Portugal. Slotman there coming to the line, holds on for second. Matteo there in third. Jamie there in fourth. With Ryan fifth. Renz in a really good final lap, finishes in sixth. Tim there in seventh. Zorzo in eighth. Sapolo there in ninth. And your own for now. Rounding off your top 10, Jess. Cameron Dowds takes the win. PSGL, PSF3 disqualified in season 30. He makes up for that 6 seasons later.
Yep, he does. What a drive from him. During the safety car restart, we felt like that he could have lost it. But he had no pressure. He knew he wanted to make the move eventually. So he took his time. He got the job done. And guess what? He's going to gain 16 points to his name. And I'm just trying to see who gets fastest lap, actually. And the timings went by so quickly that we couldn't see it at the moment. But Cameron Dowds is on fire currently at the moment. I'm just trying to see. Zavala gets driver of the day, but what could have been for him? Because he would have been on for 4th, 5th place. But Cameron Dowds will be on his 2nd win in a row. The only person to have done so was Matteo. No one's won 3 in a row. And that gets unlucky. Just wait till we get to Baku next week. All hell could break loose. But we will run for you all. The fastest lap belongs to, well, it's not inside the top 10. It's Gustav. So yeah, no one will get the fastest lap point. So it is Cameron Dowds that wins, from Flotman, from Matteo, from Jamie, from Ryan, from Renz, from Tim's, also Sapala. You're only top 10. And we got Baki, Pep, Volakongan, Keke, Noop, your top 15. Fede, Gustav, your top 17. And your only retirement is Ian Van Urban, who retired in the pit lane by the AI. But what a race, James. Portugal did not disappoint. We had some technical issues. We got through it. But it was worth the wait, wasn't it?
It was worth the wait. And it was worth the wait for Cameron Dowd. As I say, that disqualification from season 30 PSGL, PSF3. I'm just going to mention it because I was on commentary that day. Just going to mention it every single time.
All right.
He's made up for that. He is completely made up for that in terms of that win. Again, ERS and tyre management were the 2 things that won him that race. Mateo's saying there in the Discord as well. We're going to get all 3 interviewees, by the way, into the chat very soon. But Mateo actually mentioning, GG's just caught on another planet today, caught me napping, and that was it. So Matteo knows where Cameron Dowds is really strong at, very strong in terms of his pace. And in the end, Cameron Dowds takes the race win. And when you're ready, Jess, I'd like to bring them in.
Over to you, James.
Fantastic stuff. Let's hope, first of all, they're not on PS5 and we can get them in for their interviews. So we will bring in the 3 right now. And, Flopman looks like he's on PlayStation. And Mateo's in, luckily. So we have got at least 2 of them. But we can speak to the man who finished in P1 in the end. It is Mr. Cameron Dowd. And Cameron, 6 seconds that way, 6 seasons even that wait for a win around here in Portugal. It's finally come.
Yeah, I'm really happy. The qualifying, it was really good banker. But I think there was at least like a 10th in the lap that I could have got, but then I invalidated at turn 1 of my last run, so not ideal, but it was still pole, which is good. But you want to be doing the max lap time you can, and even if you're still pole, you want to get to the limit of the car. So yeah, I was still happy with pole, but it was just a little bit frustrating to not do a better time. But in the race, the car just felt absolutely mint. It was just so planted, and I can't even remember what happened or how I got out of the DRS, but it was quite nice. And then as soon as I got out of DRS, I just kind of drove off, and I thought it was going to be a simple. I thought it was just going to be a simple race, and then the safety car came out, and I didn't really know what was going to happen after the restart, because they was just burning, and I did not want to use my ERS because it's so hard to regain here. So I just kind of let back, and then luckily they kind of battled into turn 1, and then I was able to get back up in 2nd, and then at turn 3 or 4 I got back into first again, and then after that, it was just kind of gradually kind of get away. And then eventually the moment came when Matteo got in front of Flopman, and he had lower battery, and I had like 90. And I think he was on 40, and then I just knew it was my moment to just use up the battery, get the DRS, and then just control it from there.
Yeah, and that was well controlled. It's something that I mentioned in terms of commentary about ERS management. You seem to be so much better than everyone else on this field in terms of ERS management. I think I'm so on board with you, and compared to Matteo there had about 50%, I think it was, of ERS. You had 90%. Like, where on earth was our ERS regainment coming from?
I think what it is, on the restart, I chose not to use, and then the Flopman and Matteo were using a lot of battery on the first 2 laps, battling, and then I just kind of sat back, and then I was able to, as I said, I was able to get back up into P1 because of them battling, and then I didn't have to use my ERS, and then they just kept using, and I just didn't touch mine. So I think the reason it wouldn't have been that big usually, but it was just because they were battling, and then naturally P3 and P2 want to try and get up into P1, so they were just using the battery a little bit more than me.
Yeah, and that was clearly because they weren't as quick as you around this track. Let's just face it, because you were really seriously impressive. Obviously, close of the championship fight, Matteo there finishing P3 tonight, Flopman P2. Close of that championship fight by 6 points overall. How are you feeling going into the final 4 races of the season, especially Baku next week?
I'm feeling very good at the moment, especially just my league racing in general at the moment. It's going quite well for me, so hopefully I can just continue the streak. And then Baku, I hate it, but I'll do a bit of practice and we'll see what happens.
And on that, actually, I've got an extra question for you before I hand it over to Jess. Obviously, you were on PC before you transferred back over to console. Are you liking it more on console than you were on PC?
Definitely. On PC, it was just a case of I think I fell out of love with the game a little bit, just because I was playing it so much. I was on it every day for just so many hours, and it kind of sucked the enjoyment out of it a little bit. And then when I came back to console, it's just a little bit more. It's like, for me, it's the perfect level of like in between serious and casual, because you can still have that like little bit of fun, and then it's also serious in a way. So I'm definitely enjoying console a lot more at the moment, just because, instead of having to do 3 days of practice, you can just kind of hop on, do 2 or 3 hours, be on the pace, and then just have a race.
Yeah, and obviously you don't want to be overstressing yourself as well in terms of that. But congratulations on the race win. Jess, any questions?
Well, you kind of nipped my question when he was talking about Baku there as well, but I don't have any questions because of that. But congratulations, Cameron, on your 2nd win in a row. Are you due for another one this season, or do you think 2 is enough? Because I know you're going to be hunting for more.
Well, how many races is there left? 4?
Oh yeah, 4 more rounds, yeah.
Well, I'll try and win those next 4 races then.
Love that attitude, Cameron. Love that attitude. I'll let you go and enjoy your evening.
Right, thank you. See you later.
And because Flopman's having issues joining the commentary box, we'll do Matteo's interview first, and then we'll go to Flopman for his P2 interview, which I've already told him. But we can now hand it over to Matteo, who in the end finished P3 in that race. And Matteo, just to clear up on one point that was made in the chat, did you have front wing damage potentially on that car in that race? If he's here. I hope he is.
You're on mute.
Or he can hear us and he can't.
Unless he's on PlayStation 2.
Oh, no, it would show in the Discord call if he was. Oh, he might rejoin. Hang on. It might be the case where we have to both go to the waiting room and then see if it works.
Let's hope no one else will go to the waiting room, because that would be absolutely chaos otherwise.
Oh, well, I saw EPL Sam in there. Hopefully he's not going to get an interview. We'll try and brush across anybody in there. But Matteo had a fantastic race. He mentioned that. Gustav mentioned as well, he had his wheel disconnected in the first 4 corners, which I think led to Baki and Keki collecting each other off the race start as well, potentially. Matteo's just said as well in the Discord, he'll rejoin in a minute. So what we can do then is have a run through, I think, the calendar, what's coming up for the rest of the season while we wait for Matteo to join. Obviously, we have got Baku in, a week's time? That's going to be interesting, given how we've had 5 safety cars every single commentary I've done. It's going to be an interesting one, Jess.
Well, I think every race I've commentated on, I think apart from one, most of them had like multiple safety cars, and there was, I think, one that I involved with a couple of, I think about a month ago, where all the safety cars were done after lap 10, I think it was. So expect a lot of practice for this one. They're going to need it. And sometimes it may just come down to consistency rather than upright pay for some of these drivers. But there may be some drivers that love this track and just want to focus on pace. But consistency, definitely one of the key characteristics to do well at the track next week.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of which, just actually looking on board with a bit of video footage that's just come in Discord. It was Gustav who had that wheel disconnect off the line, which I thought I saw it was Baki and Keki getting involved. Gustav couldn't launch off the line. The Ferraris then ran into the back. That was Keki. And Keki, unfortunately, Baki's hit him. So that's why both of them had to come in on lap 1. But, Jess, shall we go to the waiting room to try and interview the other two?
Yes, hold on a second. I need to do multiple things at once, Mr. Head. Let's go to the waiting room, shall we?
Let's join the waiting room and let's see. Both hear us now. We will speak then to the man who finished in P2 in the end in F7R, Flopman. And Flopman, in the end, P2 finish for you out on track. Must be delighted with another podium here in PSGL.
Hola.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry for my English. I will try my best, but he's not good.
That's okay. That is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just coming on to what I said there. P2 finish for you out on track. Congratulations. Obviously, very, very hard fought for on Matteo. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was hard because I take the wrong setup at the start of the race, so it was very difficult to keep the car on track. I was lost the car every corner in the drop off, so it was very difficult to catch them. And anyway, Cameron was too fast for me.
That's a really consistent theme, I think, what I've been seeing in the Discord chat as well. Cameron way too quick for you in the end, but obviously you had that safety car come out within that race. Was that a bit of a saving grace for you? Because I was saying in commentary, come in for a set of hard compound tyres and get an undercut. It's a good job you didn't.
Yeah.
But
yes.
yeah, go on.
I got nothing to say. Sorry.
Okay. We will come across then to Jess. Any questions?
Yeah, sure. Congratulations on another good result. You got Azerbaijan next week. What are your thoughts on it?
Thank you. And I think the pace is good in Azerbaijan, so I will try my best. I will practice as much as I can, and we will see if we can get another podium, maybe a win. We will see.
That's my questions, and we'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Congratulations, Flopman.
Thanks. Thank you. And you too.
And we can confirm, James, that our assumptions were correct. Matteo is on PS5.
He is on PS5, which I think I have just seen him actually join on there, and he has now joined us within the interview room as well. Congratulations, Matteo. P3 for you, out on track. In the end, first of all, confirm to us what I said earlier on, which you didn't obviously hear. Were you having front wing damage on that car during that race?
Good evening to all. I actually didn't have damage. I don't know who told that to you, but yeah, I think I've just had the damage in myself because I was just too slow today. Coming into this race with basically a 0.5 PB until 7 p.m. wasn't ideal, so qualifying was already really good. I thought Cameron wasn't that fast, to be honest. In the first stint, we just lost the RS because the arm spun and the train broke, basically. There's no coming back from that. Safety car saved the race, or at least it was a good chance to save the race. Then good restart because I was nearly P1. But then, yeah, I was in P2, a little bit less battery than Cameron. He caught me napping because he started using the battery. Once I noticed he was already at 8, 9 tenths of gap. And he was obviously a little bit faster than everyone today, basically. So there was nothing to do from then on, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Writing on the wall, I think, is the best way to describe it in terms of your performance. It was Nicolo in the chat that mentioned that about you having damage. So I think somebody is going to get somebody's going to get a DM later on. Let's just put it that way. But congratulations though on that P3. In the end, that fight with you and Cameron, I was whetting my appetite again because I love to see you two battle out on track. I was whetting my appetite and thinking, yeah, this is going to happen. Mateo's looking quicker than Cameron Dowds now all of a sudden. And then in the end, it just wasn't to be. And then Cameron just pulled away. And then that was the end of that. But honestly, your race was really, really good, I think, from your perspective. Just didn't have the legs on the day, I think, to live with Cameron.
To be honest, I'm not really happy with the race today because I can't accept to be that much slower than a driver, even if it's a really quick one, like Cameron is. Because I want to win the championship and I just have to be on the same pace as everyone else if I want to do it. So yeah, not ideal to lose points in another race after France, where I lost quite a lot of points. But I gotta do damage limitation when I don't have the pace, even if it's not acceptable, and get the victories on the tracks where I feel confident.
Yeah, definitely so. And hopefully that confidence will be gained, I think, going forward. You still hold the championship lead, which I think is really good. And holding that championship lead at this point of the season, are you under that sort of pressure to maintain that lead? Or do you think Cameron Dowds is just going to be right there next race and then it's going to get even closer and closer as the season progresses?
Ideally, I would like to maintain more than a race gap after every race. So more or less 17 points. But this wasn't possible today, and I just have to not stumble under the pressure because I won the championship in F2 last season by doing great things also mentally, using the chances I got from my opponent not having the greatest races, and that's what Cameron will try to do, I think, with me. I just gotta do what I did last season in F2, even if it's a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously consistency is key. You have that in bucket loads, and I'm sure you can continue that as the season goes on as well. Jess, any questions?
Yes, I do have some questions. You still keep your championship lead. We've got Baku next week, followed by Netherlands and Brazil and Texas. How are you feeling about Baku in particular? Because it is a hard track. Is that one of the strongest tracks for you?
On the calendar, I will say yes. It's quite enjoyable to drive in qualifying. I don't really know what my pace is compared to others, but I know that the races can be really funny and enjoyable as well. So let's see what we can do and hopefully get back to winning ways in the next race.
Yeah, exciting stuff as well. Best of luck for the rest of the championship. We'll let you go and enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Have a nice evening.
You have a nice evening as well. We are about to wrap up the stream there as well. We did touch briefly about the calendar, so we don't need to talk about that much. But final 4 rounds, it's safe to say that the championship is nowhere near over.
Championship is nowhere near over, and look, I'm going to say the Happy Gilmore phrase that's popped into my mind. If you thought that the going was going to get tough, the tough was going to get going. And if you thought the championship was over, it's only just beginning. And I think that is going to be the case here with Mateo, with Cameron Dowds, maybe with even other drivers like Flopman being consistent once again. This championship is only hotting up, and you've got the final 4 rounds of the season. We've got Baku, Netherlands, Brazil, and Texas to come up for the rest of the season. 4 brilliant tracks for racing. Not so much next week, but hopefully the racing will still be good. And hopefully the drivers will really impress us and impress potential F1 esports teams that are watching on in terms of maybe even that move into PC for the new game.
Yeah, exactly, because there could be a development opportunity for next season. You never know. So the F1 sim racing teams will be keeping an eye on these drivers as well. We are going to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you bared with us in terms of the technical issues, but it was worth the wait because we had some fantastic action. Final plug of our sponsors. Make sure you check out our title sponsor, GT Omega. 5% off all GT Omega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. You can also use the same code at checkout for our partner Sim Racing Centre. You can get 10% off setup, strategies and coaching sessions. And we've got loads of other streams going on as well. Wednesday is going to be the rerun of Imola for the E-Series. So the rerun Imola race is going to happen then. Hopefully no problems there coming up as well. Thursday we've got the likes of Azerbaijan for the PC tiers from F2 to F5. PTF1 has been and gone. That's why the rerun of E-Series is on Wednesday. Then we've got the next round of the E-Series on Friday. It's all confusing, but you get through. I can't remember what the next round after that. You could check socials anyway. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you are new. Follow us on Twitter at PremierSimGL. Same at Instagram as well. But for myself and James, have a good evening. We'll leave you with our sponsors, Sim Racing Centre and GT Omega. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. All here is through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning